Hello, everybody. That's Daniel speaking, and this is our next emotional English podcast where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. And as always, when we work on our mini story, I want to ask you to work with me effortlessly. So without overthinking, just we're gonna practice our reaction. We have the part number 4 of our Bogey-Beast story. Today we're finalizing this mini story, and then we're going to the new topics, new directions. We just need to finish it, right? I don't want to stop it in the middle of nowhere. I want to finish this great literature part of American literature, right? And I just want to finish this mini story. We have a lot of new words today, and let's begin our reading. As always, I read the mini story. First of all, it's going to be like a full reading of the last part number 4. And then I have like 4 or let's say 3 pieces of text, and then I'll read every piece, with a lot of concentration, and then we'll try to be aware and we'll try to learn some new words all together. And then I'll ask you some questions related to each paragraph, and you will help me with that, okay? And in the end of the audio podcast today, I'm going to ask you some words, and I will read the whole story from the beginning until the end. We will revise our mini story this way, and I hope you will love it. You can re-listen this podcast anytime you want, just to revise the new words and just to refresh the idea of the mini story in your mind. Okay? And let's begin. Let's start from the part number 4. As you remember, we finished, where do we finish? We finished on the part number 3 last time, right? So the lady, she was like thinking and comparing her luck a lot, right? She had gold at first, then she realized that it was not a gold, it was a silver. And then she changed her mind from silver to iron. And then she changed her she changed her idea of thing what's inside of her treasure into just a piece of rock, just a piece of classic rock. And now we're having the last words, right? What is happening next? Let's check it out, and I hope you will love it all. So, all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone, which lay on the path behind her. Oi! It was a stone, sure enough. There was plenty light to see it, lying there, douce and peaceable as a stone should. Douce or douse, we'll discuss it later. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl, and when, oh my, all of the sudden it gave a jump, a squeal, and in one moment was as big as a haystack. Then it let down 4 great lanky legs, and then threw out 2 long ears, nourished a great long tail, and romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. Okay? The old woman stared after it till it was fairly out of sight. Then she burst out laughing too. Well, she chuckled, I am in luck. Quite the luckiest body hereabouts. Fancy my seeing the Bogey-Beast all to myself and making myself too free with it too. My goodness, I do feel that uplifted, that grand. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. So this is the end of our part number 4. Let's cut the whole part into 4 little pieces, and then we'll discuss it all piece by piece. The first piece. So, all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. So, she trotted off down the hill. Do you understand this little phrase here? She trotted off down the hill. It means she left the hill. She kind of departed, right? She departed the hill and she went down, right? Down the hill till she came to her own cottage. So why? Why did she trot off down the hill? Because she wanted to see, right, how the stone would keep the gate open. So she was wondering, oh my God, how I would use this beautiful stone. Would it keep the gate open or it wouldn't keep the gate open, right? So she wanted to check this out, right? And she trotted off down the hill. She kind of, departed from her own position, and she trotted down the hill till she came to her cottage. And again, trot, this word means like somewhere in the middle of walking and in the middle of running. Something in the middle, it means like, something like what? Like jogging, something like this, very slow running. So, and she unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone which lay on the path behind her. Let's begin the first word, unlatched the gate, right? When you are trying to unlatch the gate, you are kind of opening the gate, right? Every gate has a latch. Latch, it's like a little thing which closing the gate, nobody can open it after you, okay? So when you latched the gate, nobody can open it because it's kind of closed. When you unlatching the gate, you're giving the gate the free will to be opened, right? So now when the gate is unlatched, kind of opened, you can completely fine go into it and do your thing, okay? So unlatch, latch, it's a noun. It's a little thing, the metal thing, which you can open or close. With using of a latch, you can close your gate or open your gate, right? I think you understand. In some USSR doors, you can see these latches, and some people were using these latches by closing them and opening them. And if you don't want to open your door completely, you can use your latch. It's like a little chain, connected with a latch, and you can just open your door for a little bit. The person on the opposite side can see that you are using the latch, so you cannot open the door completely, or he or she cannot open the door completely because the door need to be unlatched first. Okay, I think you got my position, right? I've tried to explain you the word latch and the verb unlatch. And just to latch, right? Next, she unlatched the gate. She opened the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl, right? When you are on the plane, you need to fasten your belts, right? Or when you are in the car, you need to fasten your your belts, right? To be safe, right? To have the security. Here she have to unfasten her shawl. Shawl, it's like this thing, we discussed it previously, like the babushkas, right? The old grannies were wearing, and now some of them kind of wearing it. So, and she unfastened her shawl from what? From the stone which lay on the path behind her, okay? She was using her shawl to kind of move the object, right? She was moving the object using what? Using the shawl, right? So finally, she was using her shawl. She unfastened her shawl from the stone, which lay on the path behind her. Okay. And then she proclaimed, "Oi!" Right? "Oi! It was a stone, sure enough." So she realized that this kind of stone is enough to do what? To kind of keep the gate open, right? So it's a good gatekeeper, right? So nice gatekeeping stone. The stone, sure enough, good enough for this purpose, for this use. There was plenty light to see it lying there, right? And then the kind of got a nice word, deuce or douse, and peaceable as a stone should. Okay, I want to read this sentence again to be more understandable. There was plenty light to see it lying there, deuce or douse, and peaceable as a stone should. Why I'm saying deuce or douse? Because this word classically is, I think, French, very French word, I say. And I've tried to check the correct pronunciation. Some people pronounce it in a way of deuce. Some people pronounce it in a way of douse, right? Deuce is more French pronunciation, and douse, it's more American, I guess. And it means, generally, it means that it's I'll try to explain it in this way. Deuce means in a way of it's like when something is a deuce, it means it's gentle and soft. And I call it in this context, it was sitting, right? The stone was sitting deuce, right? It means that in a nice way. So without any trouble, softly, nicely sitting in the place where it was, right? Some people say it belongs, right? It belongs. So the stone belongs that place when the stone was sitting, right? So, and you can say deuce, right? Or douse, right? Douse and peaceable. And this is kind of nice, peaceable as a stone should. So the location of the stone was perfect, and the stone was nicely set there sit there very nicely, okay? Okay, I hope I'm pretty understandable here. And there was a plenty light to see it, right? That the stone was sitting there nicely, softly, without touches. So peaceable as a stone should be, okay? So with that said, let's read this whole paragraph again, and then I will ask you maybe one or two questions related to it. So, all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone which lay on the path behind her. Oi! It was a stone, sure enough. There was plenty light to see it lying there. Deuce and peaceable as a stone should. Okay? So I want to ask you the question, where was the lady when she kind of checked and trotted off? Where was she at the beginning? She was in the cottage, or she was somewhere outside? She was in the way back to her cottage, on the way back or not? Let me know. Yes, she was on the way back home, on the way back to her own cottage, right? And she was kind of running, she was trotting, or she was walking down. She trotted off. It means that she was not running, she was not walking, she was trotting, okay? Trotting is something in the middle, right? Like jogging in a fast way. So, what did she do with her gate when she arrived to her house? What did she do with her gate? She opened it, right? She opened the gate. But how? How did she do that? Okay, she unlatched the gate, right? Because she had a latch on her gate and she unlatched it, okay? Opened the gate. Removing the latch from their position, from its position, right? So next, what did she do next? She unfastened her shawl, right? Unfasten means removing the shawl from the stone, right? And then she proclaimed something. She proclaimed what? Like, oi, like this. Kind of old stylish, not used anymore. British people can use it nicely. Oi, And next word is deuce or douse. I'm not actually understand this word in a nice way. I think it's not very usable for me. And I've checked on youglish.com, pretty good website to check the pronunciation, and I found only only some of the ways of using this word. Not very popular actually on YouTube. So that was our first part of the first paragraph, right? Next paragraph is going next. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl, and when, oh my, right? So something happened that moment when she was unfasten the shawl and from the stone. Oh my! All of a sudden, it gave a jump, a squeal, and in one moment was as big as a haystack. All right. So what's happened that moment? Something jumped, right? Something jumped and squealed, right? Squeal, it's like this, okay? Squeal. And in one moment was as big as haystack. Haystack, it's a big dry grass staying as a stack, all right? So, when you drive somewhere outside of the city, you can see the haystacks, a lot of haystacks. It's like big stack of dry grass. It's kind of yellowish, it's a haystack. So, and as big as haystack, it means the size was of that creature which jumped out of that place was kind of big as a haystack. So then it led down four great lanky legs, and threw out two long ears, nourished a great long tail, and romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. Okay? That's the end of our second paragraph. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl. Bent over it, it means when you are trying to bend and you're trying to bow, you're bowing and you're kind of moving your body closer to your legs. You're bent over what? You're bent over the shawl, right? And she was trying to remove her shawl, and that moment, booyah! Oh my, right? Something happened this moment. Oh my, all of the sudden, it gave a jump. It means something. Sudden gave a jump and made a sound, a squeal, like this, made a crazy sound. And in one moment was as big as a haystack, right? Something big appeared from that place where the rock sat, right? Let's sit. And then it led down four great lanky legs, all right? So then it led down four great lanky legs. In this case, great lanky legs means very, thin legs, right? Great thin legs. Lanky means very, very thin and kind of tall, okay? But you cannot say that the legs are kind of tall, but you can say that the person is tall. But imagine that legs were kind of lanky. It means tallish and thinnish, right? Okay, thin. That's going to be nice. Great lanky legs, and threw out two long ears. So that thing had and showed two long ears, like a rabbit probably. And then that thing nourished a great long tail. So that creature had great long tail, and nourished, it means showed to everybody in this condition, I guess. And then romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. It's like, just imagine, it's just a description of the emotions which this creature showed to the old lady. Romped off, it means runs pretty quickly, kicking and squealing and whinnying like this, laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. What does it mean, naughty? Naughty in this context, it's more like badly behaved, right? Boy, let's imagine. But it's not the boy. It was a crazy creature. And that creature behaved in a naughty way, right? It means badly, right? Disobedient, people say. Disobedient means naughty, not good, right? Behave badly. So that creature behaved very badly and mischievous, right? Mischievous. In this case, mischievous boy, it's the thing as, let's imagine the person who tries to make a trouble, right? Who injures people, who makes something unpleasant. And I think it's all about the same thing. Naughty, mischievous, somebody who is behaving very badly. And that creature was weird, right? First of all, it's whinnying, right? What does it mean? Whinnying. It's like the horse like this, and then laughing like, yeah, in a naughty way, mischievously kind of laughing, right, on people. It's probably the bad thing appeared from the place where the stones sit, right? And then the old woman stared after it, right? Till it was fairly out of sight. And then she burst out laughing too. Okay, let's call this part as our part number 3. And we see that, it's the part number 2, sorry. And then what the lady did first. Let's reread this part again to memorize a little bit more information. So she bent over it, right, to unfasten the shawl end. All right, you understand. Bent to bow. She was kind of bowing and then removing her shawl from the end of the stone. The shawl end from the stone. And then she proclaimed, oh my, she had seen something very pleasant, probably shocking. And all of a sudden, something happened. It gave a jump. Something gave a jump. Squeal like, yow! And in one moment was as big as a haystack, a big dry grass stack, right? And then it let down 4 great lanky legs, right? These lanky legs means what? Means very thin and long, right? Legs. And threw out 2 long ears, right? Like a rabbit. Nourished a great long tail, showed a great long tail, and romped off. It means started something aggressively, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy, right? It's expressed the combination of emotions which this thing showed to the old lady. In a naughty way, mischievously, so whinnying like like a horse, laughing like that. And then the old woman stared after it. Stared means looking at it for a long time in a shocking way, like, oh my God, who is it? Who is it? Or who was it? Right? The old woman stared after it till it was fairly out of sight. So probably this thing like ran away or something. And then she burst out laughing too. Burst out, she burst out laughing too. Like, oh my God, what was it? Right? She was kind of confused. And the last section tells us about this thing. Well, she chuckled. I am in luck. And again, chuckled, right? Chuckled like, oh my God, like this. So when you chuckling, right, you laughing quietly and like giggling, it's the same. Well, she chuckled, I'm in luck, like this. I'm in luck, like this, She was chuckling. I'm in luck. Quite the luckiest body hereabouts. So she thought that she was the luckiest body hereabouts. Hereabouts, it means in this area, right? Hereabouts, in this area. I'm in luck. Quite the luckiest body hereabouts. Fancy my seeing the Bogey-Beast all to myself and making myself so free with it too. My goodness, I do feel that uplifted, that grand. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. Is it good or bad? Probably good. So what's happened here, guys? She chuckled, I'm in luck, right? And then quite the luckiest body hereabouts. She thought that she's the luckiest body. She was thinking about that nicely. Luckiest body hereabouts, somewhere here around, right? Fancy my seeing, right? Fancy my seeing is like, I'm a very lucky person to see the Bogey-Beast all to myself and making myself so free with it too. So she was lucky to have no Bogey-Beast anymore, and she was so lucky. I don't know why. It's better to have something than nothing, right? And she proclaimed nicely, my goodness, right? My goodness. It's like, oh my God, my goodness. I do feel that uplifted. So that moment, she felt a lot of good energy, a lot of positive energy, and she do feel that uplifted. So nice. And she said, that grand, right? She felt grand. It's again, we discussed this word previously, a lot of positive energy. Again, that grand. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. Chuckling over, it's like when you're chuckling, when you chuckle over something, you're laughing on something, okay? So, and she was chuckling over her good luck, right? She's like, oh my God, how cool was it? Like she experienced something nice. And maybe in the reason of that, she was so touched and she was so excited by that story. And not the gold made her grand, made her feel grand, not the silver, not the stone, nothing, but just that experience, right? To see the Bogey-Beast. And actually, I'm really wondering, what is the Bogey-Beast? Probably it's just like a mythic creature. Let me double check in Google because I've never asked myself what is the Bogey-Beast. And I want to see the picture of it. Of course, yes, the Bogey-Beast. It's just the strange, like a creature, let's call it this way. And it's the combination of what? I don't know. It's the combination of, oh my God. It's the combination of rabbit, and something strange. I cannot, it's undescriptive, I guess. Sorry, guys. I just couldn't describe you this thing. Okay, anyway, this is the end of our part number 4. Now I will read the whole part number 4 again, and then we will do the revision of the whole story, okay? So part number 4 first, just try to revise the whole vocab which we discussed with you here, and then try to understand the whole context as well. So all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone which lay on the path behind her. Oi! It was a stone, sure enough, and there was plenty light to see it laying there, dose and peaceable as a stone should. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl, and when, oh my, all of a sudden it gave a jump, a squeal, and in one moment was as big as a haystack. Then it let down 4 great lanky legs and threw out 2 long ears, nourished a great long tail, and romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy, all right? So she was like romped off, running away probably in this context. So then the old woman stared after it till it was fairly out of sight. Then she burst out laughing too. Well, she chuckled, I am in luck. Quite the luckiest body hereabouts. Fancy my seeing the Bogey-Beast all to myself and making myself so free with it too. My goodness, I do feel that uplifted, that grand. I am the luck. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. This is the end of our part number 4. All right. Now I will reread the whole story. Okay. So we're already kind of 29 minutes done with our mini story. With our podcast, but no worries. I just want to give you a little bit more content here to revise the whole story from the beginning until the end. Okay. So there was once a woman who was very, very cheerful. Though she had little to make her so, for she was old and poor and lonely, she lived in a little bit of cottage and earned a scant living by running errands for her neighbors, getting a bite here, a sup there, as a reward for her services. So she made shift to get on and always looked as spry and cheery as if she had not a want in the world. Now, one summer evening, as she was trotting, full of smiles as ever, along the high road to her hovel, what should she see but a big black pot lying in the ditch? "Goodness me," she cried, "that would be just the very thing for me if I only had something to put in it. But I haven't. Now, who could have left it in the ditch?" And she looked about her, expecting the owner would not be far off, but she could see nobody. Next, the part 2 appeared. "Maybe there is a hole in it," she went on, "and that's why it has been cast away. But it would do fine to put a flower in for my window, so I will just take it home with me." And with that, she lifted the lid and looked inside. "Mercy me," she cried, fair amazed. "If it isn't full of gold pieces, here is luck." And so it was brimful of great gold coins. Well, at first she simply stood stock still, wondering if she was standing on her head or her heels. Then she began saying, "Locks, but I do feel rich. I feel awful rich." After she had saying this many times, she began to wonder how she was to get her treasure home. It was too heavy for her to carry, and she could see no better way than to tie the end of her shawl to it and drag it behind her like a go-kart. "It will soon be dark," she said to herself as she trotted along. "So much the better. The neighbors will not see what I'm bringing home, and I shall have all the night to myself and be able to think what I'll do. Mayhap I'll buy a grand house and just sit by the fire with a cup of tea and do no work at all, like a queen. Or maybe I will bury it at the garden foot and just keep a bit in the old china teapot on the chimney piece. Or maybe, goody, I feel that grand, I don't know myself." Okay, that's the end of part number 2. Now let's go to part number 3. By this time, she was a bit tired of dragging such a heavy weight and stopping to rest a while, turned to look at her treasure. And ayo, it wasn't a pot of gold at all. It was nothing but a lump of silver. She stared at it and rubbed her eyes and stared at it again. "Well, I never," she said at last, "and me thinking it was a pot of gold, I must have been dreaming. But this is luck. Silver is far less trouble, easier to mind, and not so easy stolen. Them gold pieces would have been the death on me, and with this great lump of silver. So goody. So she went off again, planning what she would do and feeling as rich until becoming a bit tired again. She stopped to rest and gave a look round to see if her treasure was safe. And she saw nothing but a great lump of iron. "Well, I never," she says again. "And I'm mistaking it for silver. I must have been dreaming again. But this is luck. It's real convenient. I can get penny pieces for old iron, and penny pieces are a deal handier for me than your gold and silver. Why? I should never have slept a wink for fear of being robbed. But a penny piece comes in useful, and I shall see that iron for a lot and be real rich, rolling rich. So on she trotted, full of plans as to how she would spend her penny pieces, till once more she stopped to rest and looked round to see her treasure was safe. And this time she saw nothing but a big stone. Well, I never, she cried, full of smiles, of course, and to think I mistook it for iron. I must have been dreaming, but here is luck indeed, and me wanting a stone, terrible bad to stick open the gate. Ah, my, but it's a change for the better. It's a fine thing to have good luck. All right, it's the end of the part number 3. Now let's read the part number 4. So, all in a hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shawl from the stone which lay on the path behind her. Oi, it was a stone, sure enough. There was plenty light to see it, laying there, douce and peaceable, as a stone should. So she bent over it to unfasten the shawl, and when, oh my, all of a sudden it gave a jump, a squeal, and in one moment was as big as a haystack. Then it let down 4 great lanky legs and threw out 2 long ears, nourished a great long tail, and romped off, kicking and squealing and whinnying and laughing like a naughty, mischievous boy. The old woman stared after it till it was fairly out of sight. Then she burst out laughing too. Well, she chuckled, I am in luck, quite the luckiest body hereabouts. Fancy my seeing the Bogey-Beast all to myself and making myself so free with it too. My goodness, I do feel that uplifted, that grand. So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck. Okay? And this is the end of our whole story, the end of the part number 4, and the end of all mini story. The Bogey-Beast have finished, right? We just done it. We just finished it. And that's good. That's good. So lucky you guys, we've got it done. Now, if you need some more attention, you can re-listen this podcast, these 4 last pieces of a podcast, 4 parts done, and you can listen to it, and then you can revise all the new vocab. And next podcast is going to be about something interesting, about lifestyle, about motivation, about something which gives us more passion to study the language. I hope you guys had fun with the mini story. I hope you guys agreed with me and accepted my voice to read this mini story. If you like this podcast, please like it on any platform where you listen to it, and subscribe to all my resources. It's Instagram Bondarison. It's my website www.danilabondarenko.ru, where you can log in and where you can find the opportunity to have a tryout lesson with me. And I'm preparing my program for the next year. From September, I'm launching the new group lessons with my students, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee you guys, you'll have fun. And the speaking clubs, there are so many things to be launched, and I have the new website coming up. So it's gonna be a really cool next season. I mean, the season of like a studying season. You know, in Russia, here in Russia, we have the season from September until the end of May, as I see it this way. So that's the season for me. but I'm busy as F word this this season, this summer season as well, and that's why I have not enough time to finish my courses yet. But I'll do it, guys, and it's gonna be pretty affordable for you, and it's gonna be very nice to achieve our vocab all together. It's gonna be audible. It's gonna be with video. Video description. It's going to be fun. I hope you will have it in a nice way. You will accept it in a good way. So this is the end for today, and I hope you guys will have a lot of motivation to learn the language deeply, nicely, without any effort. So that's what I wish you guys. Have an amazing time and enjoy your time with English in our emotional English podcast where we learn what? Where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Thank you all. See you next.